Well, it wasn't meant to be. The Edmonton Oilers fall 2-1 to the Florida Panthers in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. No sixth Stanley Cup for the Oil, not this year at least. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. I'm Tom Gazzola, high atop downtown Edmonton overlooking Ice District. Thank you for joining us as we conclude the season with the Oilers not celebrating in glee, but staring on as the Florida Panthers hoist the Stanley Cup at Amerant Bank Arena tonight. YouTube Trev holding things down back at ESTHQ. Matt Cassian, our game analyst, will be joining us in a little bit. Of course, you can text us 780-218-9999 and get into the nasty chat. It's going to be a tough one for sure as the Oil lose in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. GCL Diesel, big thank you to them for hopping on, being a part of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show, getting on board in about February, and we couldn't thank them enough for making this happen. And then, of course, all of our fine sponsors, Christopher Boyle, as well as Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. All right, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999, and I'm just going to give you a quick scene setter here. I know this isn't great or anything like that, but what was supposed to be a very exciting, fun day in Edmonton, people leaving disheveled, down, and upset, but at least nobody's going too wild or crazy in Ice District tonight. So keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999 as we continue on here. I want to crack one of these and send this out to everybody one more time to wrap up the season. Cheers to everybody who stuck with us all season. How you holding up, buddy? Cheers to you and everybody out there.
Tommy, I think, can you hear me, Tommy? I think we had a little bit of a disconnection there, but yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Did you hear that? Cheers to everybody out there.
I cheers to you as well. And cheers to everyone who's been here through this wonderful season. It's tough, Tommy, man. Oh, that's so brutal. Just talk about a swift kick in the nuts, man. Never feel anything like that in my entire life. I can't imagine what the players are feeling like, what they're going through. So they had it. Like, they were so close. I don't know, man. If the Oilers won tonight, I'd be like, wow, I can't believe it. And then, they lost, and I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, this feeling is it's just opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're just, this one's tough, man. Like, when the Oilers got swept by the Avalanche, that was tough. Last year, when they got, eliminated by the Vegas Golden Knights, that was tough. And it's, I see the silver linings. I know there's a lot of people saying there's a lot to be proud of and whatnot. It was if you look at it, the grand scheme of things, it was a pretty unbelievable season. But I mean, the players will say it. They don't. It's progress, yeah, but you don't play to get second place, man. Like, you learn that at a very young age. You want to win, you want to be the best, and it's tough, man. That sucks. But cheers to all the nasties. You guys are absolute beauties. Too bad they couldn't get it done. It really is, man. It really is. This one hurts.
Yeah, it does. Understandably so, after everything that this team went to and to get to this point only to lose. Even a seventh and final game definitely stings. We understand that wholeheartedly. All right, let's get into the scoring summary from this Game 7 and the game stats as we zip through things. Tonight, we began in the first period, 4:27 in. Carter Verhaeghe, his 11th of the playoffs from Rodriguez and Lundell, 1-0 on the beautiful redirection. Oilers couldn't get the puck out of their zone, and they get bit on the bottom for it. Then Matthias Janmark, not long after at 6:44, would get the equalizer. He had an absolutely tremendous final for the Oilers and a very strong postseason. His fourth on a great feed from Mr. Game 7, Cody Ceci, who set him up, sprung him on the break, and he beats Sergei Bobrovsky. And then later on, we go now to the second period, and this would be the difference at 15-11. Sam Reinhart on a backing in Oilers defense. It was Brett Kulak backed in, gave Reinhart way too much time, and he snuck it past Stuart Skinner, short side, his 10th of the playoffs from Verhaeghe and Kulikov. The Oilers would try to get things going offensively in the third period, just weren't able to. Some mad scrambles in front of Sergei Bobrovsky, and the puck just stayed out. End of the night, Edmonton outshoots Florida 24-21. Faceoffs, the Oilers win that battle 52.5% to 47.5. The power play 0 for 1. The PK 2 for 2 PK. Absolutely tremendous. Gave this team a chance. A couple of shorties in the Stanley Cup Final, but the power play just gets the one opportunity and was unable to convert. Hits 30-19 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Block shots 17-14. Florida did a great job of getting sticks in lanes, taking away opportunities and looks for the Oilers, and masterful job by Florida tonight, keeping Edmonton to the outside for the most part. Giveaways 13-9. Florida with 13, Edmonton with 9, takeaways 12 for the Panthers to Edmonton 7. At the end of the night, the numbers that matter: 2 for the Panthers, 1 for the Oilers. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Of course, GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream post-game show, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Okay, Cass is standing by. Let's get Cass on here. And we'll get going with our game analyst, Matt Cassian, who's been great all season long. Let's get him on. Cass, tough year for the Oil at the end of tough year to start and then tough way to end.
Yeah.
But what can you say this game and the grind that it was?
Well, it was a grind. The Florida Panthers did an amazing job of holding the middle of the ice, protecting the front of the net, and the Oilers' best players couldn't find a way to score. I mean, that's the difference. Is, the only goal scorer for the Oilers tonight was Matthias Janmark, and that's the hockey game, Tommy.
Yeah, Cass, can you hear me? I think Tommy might have frozen.
Yeah, I can hear you. It looks like Tommy froze again. The wonderful connection. So
good hole.
I guess I can just keep going until we get Tommy back. But yeah, it's a tough one to swallow. Multiple levels, I think, for everybody. It was not like the Oilers played a bad game or a poor game. The Florida Panthers just played a little bit better. And I think there's a lot of it that comes down, and we talked before the game about the importance of that first goal. And I think, Trev, that even showed more tonight, where I think if Edmonton scores first, I think all the momentum, all the motivation, all the control of the hockey game just swings to Edmonton's favor, where, when Florida scored, and even though you tied it up right away, it mentally was like a switch flipped in their brains to be like, okay, no, we can do this. We can win this. We can control this, versus Edmonton being able to do the same. So it's tough. It stings. Going to sting for a long time for a lot of people, Trev.
Yep.
You and me both included in that.
This one hurts, Cass. Yeah, no, I mean, we talked at length in pregame show. We talked about it. The first goal is it's crucial, especially in the series, especially in the finals, right? So that was huge, and it was evident, right? They couldn't quite find their mojo. Credit to the Panthers, because that looked a lot more like the Panthers that we were used to seeing in Game 2, Game 3 for sure. And so they're a great team, right? They're absolutely a great team. Cass, just want to get your thoughts on, I know I don't want to make any excuses. I'll give it to the Florida Panthers. They were the better team. But what about the ice there? The bobbling. Do you see McDavid just pop a tire several times? I would lose it, man. I'm sorry, but if that's in Edmonton, if it's a nice, I've never seen McDavid blow an edge like that in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. The reality, though, Trev, is both teams are playing on that ice.
Yeah,
right?
That's fair.
Both teams have to play with it. And does it affect Edmonton more? Probably, with McDavid and the skill and the way he uses his edges, where bad ice affects you a little bit more. But, Trev, the bad ice didn't stop them from, getting penetration to the middle of the ice. The bad ice didn't stop them from turning the puck over multiple times. The bad ice didn't stop them from, Kulak from backing in and giving Reinhart a lane to step into a prime location on the ice for a shot, like, we could. It's a factor, but it's one that both teams had to play with. So I don't know. I mean,
No,
part
that's
of it
fair.
sucks, but
Both teams are on the ice.
both teams are on the ice.
Yep, no, that's fair. This is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. I'm not usually the host, but Tommy will be reconnecting pretty soon here. Let's quickly go into some text, if that's okay with you, Cass, until
Absolutely, let's do it.
till Tommy hops on board. Okay, let's go to CB Radio Guy. The second goal tonight sealed it for me, knowing the hockey gods weren't allowing the Noil to win. 2 wide open nets and just no puck luck. Can't pile on the mistakes tonight. I'm very proud of this team this year. That's one thing. Is there any positives, Cass? Like, I know we talked about it, cup or bust, but like at this point, they want this. They want it more. You don't play hockey to be second, right? You play it. So can you think of anything? Is there any progress or silver linings to the season?
Well, I mean, silver lining is you lost in Game 7 by 1 goal in the Stanley Cup Final. Positive that you got there. Huge disappointment at the same time. So it's not much of a silver lining. But you accomplished some great things. I mean, as individuals inside of that room, there's a lot of guys that should be very, very proud of what they did. And really, as fans, you should be proud of what they did too. But it's okay to be proud and be disappointed at the same time. It's okay to be proud and be upset at the same time, and to feel that, especially now. If we're going to go silver linings, the draft is a couple of days away.
Yeah.
We're not in a long summer situation here where we have to come up with things to talk about. It's going to be right back at it, and it's going to be just as difficult next year. You're hoping that the lessons learned this year, and being inches literally away from the cup pushes you that much more, and that from whoever the GM ends up being, from a management standpoint, that they're able to make some tweaks and some adjustments to make this team even better than they were this year. But I don't know. I don't know if there's silver linings. Again, we should be proud of them. The guys in that room should be proud of what they accomplished, but it's also okay just to feel that frustration and sadness and disappointment.
Yeah, man. I honestly can't think of where does this rank for just like, do you have anything that compares to this, Cass?
Well, it's not in the moment. Right? Like, it's fresh.
Oh.
It's fresh, Trev. I think it's fresh for all of us. It's going to be right in line there with everybody else in the 2006, right? Like, it's right there. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's quite hit me all the way yet. Probably more so tomorrow. Wake up, just wake up sad, and I remember why I woke up sad, and I think a lot of people will do the same. Yeah, my hockey Oilers watching days, I mean, it's got to be 06 in this, and they're kind of on par.
Man.
Both suck. Yep.
No, well said, Cass. If you're just tuning in right now, I know a lot of people are chiming in the nasty chat. This is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. My name is YouTube Trev, joined alongside Matt Cassian. We should be having Tom Gazzola. This connection issue, it doesn't usually last this long, so bear with me here. I wasn't expecting this, but that's okay. We get along with it. Yeah, man, it's tough. Like this one, I don't know. That's there we go. It looks like pretty soon here. We'll get Tommy on in shortly in a few minutes here. But Cass, I'm lost for words, man. I'm lost for words. This is tough, man. This is really, really tough. What about can you talk about Florida? Can you give them some props? Talk about their players. I know we talked about Carter Verhaeghe and Reinhart not showing up, and of course tonight's the night that they show up.
Tonight's the night they show up. Yeah, all of a sudden those two guys, they show up. Hey, Florida is and has been a great hockey team, and they were a great hockey team tonight. They were the better hockey team, and now they're the Stanley Cup champions. They did a extremely good job of defending today. The Oilers' grade A chances were extremely limited. There were not a lot of really good looks. Their penalty killing did a great job, tremendous job, I would say, all series. Not like there was a lot of power play opportunities for Edmonton tonight, but once again, Florida manages to kill it off. But they executed their game plan. I thought they did a much better job tonight of being physical, of being aggressive, of not sitting back. At the same time, they did a really good job when Edmonton did have some pressure of collapsing to the front of the net, protecting the front of the net, and clearing pucks away. Like, there weren't a lot until really some of the mad scrambles at the end of the game. There weren't a lot of second opportunities that the Edmonton Oilers have. Now, part of that's Florida and part of that's Edmonton, where I don't think they did a good enough job of getting to the front of the net tonight. There was a lot of times puck at the point, defensemen, it felt like Bouchard and Ekholm, it happened to them multiple times where Edmonton had puck control, they had some pressure, and the defensemen's like walking, but no lane, nothing to shoot at. Or when there was a shot, there was a couple for Ekholm where it's like he had a great lane for a shot, but Florida did a great job of boxing out Edmonton's forwards and clearing a lane so that Bobrovsky could see it to eliminate the danger of the chance. So they did a lot of things really, really well tonight.
Absolutely. Okay, I did just get word. Tom Gazzola is back, so I'm going to pass the mic off to him. Thank you for that, Cass. And here is Tom Gazzola.
Glitches. We managed to get it all sorted out. I worked my way back down to the satellite studios, and Cass, it was a noble idea, but we are at the whim of the Wi-Fi connection that we have up there, and we thought we had a solution, and it just didn't work. So here we are, patched in via the hardwire. So okay, catch me up. Where did you guys leave off? I caught the physical aspect of the Florida Panthers, but what else did we get to here?
Yeah, I mean, we touched on the physical aspect of the Florida Panthers. We talked about how this is like the worst hockey memory in forever. How bad it sucks. a lot of that. And talked about how well the Florida Panthers played, protecting the middle of the ice, executing their game plan. The physicality was a part of that.
All right. Thank you for getting me up to speed. Thank you guys for tap dancing while I was away. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Edmonton falling 2-1 to the Florida Panthers in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999, and, of course, via the nasty chat. We will get to as many as we can. This one said, should I remind everyone to like adults and not be Vancouver? Hope everyone's not being a fool in the city. From what I saw, Cass, just people dejected, leaving the arena, leaving the plaza, leaving the fan park, not breaking stuff or anything like that. So that's just like a 2-block view from up on the amenities floor when we were set up there. So I think that's a good sign. Hopefully people don't do anything too stupid out there or stupid at all. So we'll see if people can adhere to being good to one another and ELE and all those things we like to say here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Sports Guy texted in and says, where was lazy Draisaitl on the second goal? Cass, did you break down the second one?
I didn't break it down yet. But if I'm watching it and going, I mean, the challenging part with this is it's a 3-on-3, really a 3-on-4. Mm-hmm. Edmonton has 3 players back with a 4th coming in. Now, Draisaitl, I wouldn't call it's not a lazy back check. He sees 3 white jerseys in front of him and holds the middle of the ice. Kulak can't back in. Kulak thinks it's a 3-on-2. And so he plays it like a 3-on-2. So he's playing to take away the pass when realistically he should be gapped up. So he should be just off of the shoulder. So he should have Reinhart's inside shoulder and he should be a stick and a half away. Like that should not be a clean shot to the net. He shouldn't be able to skate into the dot to fire that. There is really no reason for Kulak to be there. You have help on the back door. Warren Fogel's back. CC takes the middle lane drive, which is what he's supposed to do. And Brett Kulak backs in. You like Skinner to make a save there too. So if you're going to look at it, you'd say, first would be Kulak on that backing in. Again, 3-on-4, you should be fine. And then secondary to that, Stuart Skinner, you'd like him to make that save. Yeah,
we got a couple people on the nasty chat saying Skinner was the issue on the second goal, needs to stop that shot. Skinner needs to make that save. Says do in it for fun, 8888. So I mean, it's hard to pin this all on Stuart Skinner, but yeah, you'd like a save on that one. You can't pin anything on Stu Skinner, right? I mean, the guy played.
No, from an
brilliant
overall
play.
loss standpoint, no. How can you?
Yeah.
He has your solid save percentage tonight. Made some good saves in the first period, and ultimately your team scores one goal.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to win hockey games when your team scores one goal, because if you only score one, you got to pitch a shutout. And again, like the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. I think if we look at the score sheet here, there's a bunch of zeros, and they didn't find a way to put the puck in the back of the net. And that's the hockey game. Is Florida did a great job defending. They protected the middle, and they limited the grade A opportunities that McDavid and Draisaitl had, and that's what won them the cup tonight.
All right, let's go into the inbox now. 780-218-9999. Edmonton loses Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers 2-1. JB says, is the misread on Reinhardt's goal a sign of poor communication between defensive partners? From JB.
Is it a poor read? Great text, great question. It's a poor read by Kulak. CC did exactly. CC played it like it was a 3-on-3. Fogo played it like it was a 3-on-3. Kulak did not play it like it was a 3-on-3. Again, just got sucked way too back deep in the zone, playing it as if it was a 3-on-2, and he had to play a 2-on-1. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. That's the bottom line on that
Simple
play.
as that. Yep. Barry the Cheater texting says, it's been a hell of a year. It's been a hell of a season. You can't come closer without winning the Stanley Cup. Pretty proud of the guys in the dressing room for everything they did this year. Thanks to all the nasties and Edmonton Sports Talk for letting me join them on this wild ride. Thank you, Barry the Cheater. We appreciate that so very much. Let's go to Taco Texan. Says, props to Florida. They suffocated the Oil and deserved the win. They set the tone and pushed the pace. They beat the Oilers with heavy checking and in-your-face hockey. The Oil had no time to make plays. They kept bracing themselves for hits. It kept coughing up the puck. Got to go put my crying boy to bed. This hurts. Cass, the Oilers had a tough time getting to the middle and penetrating the middle. It seemed like the Panthers did a good job of keeping things to the outside.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that to me, again, that's the main reason the Florida Panthers won. They did a very good job. And I think the physicality helped with that. Like, they did a good job of being physical, but then recovering to the middle of the ice. So, high pressure out, but high pressure back in, and pushing the puck outside. And again, in the offensive zone, I don't think Edmonton, and maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. I don't think Edmonton was trying to be too cute. Like, it wasn't like they were trying to pass through everybody in the middle, but it was very difficult for them to find shooting lanes and to get bodies to the net. Like, if I was going to break it down even more, I would say the Florida Panthers defensemen did a masterful job of boxing out. So just quite literally not allowing the Edmonton Oilers forwards to get to the front of the net, standing their ground, holding their lane, maintaining interior position so that Edmonton just couldn't penetrate. And even when the puck was going there wasn't bodies in front to get that deflection, to get a bounce, to create the chaos that you would have liked to have seen.
780-218-9999. Keep the text coming in. And of course, via the nasty chat as well. The Oilers fall 2-1 to the Florida Panthers in Game 7. Sean Z texting and says, GWG looked offside to me. Oilers were gassed. So full of emotions right now. Oilers will be there next year. That coming in from Sean Z. The gas thing, Cass. I saw a few people suggest that the Oilers had run out of juice and didn't have the jam in the tank. I don't necessarily believe that. I thought that they had a good enough amount of gumption, and it was just that one mistake that ended up costing them on the misread by Kulak on that play. I thought the gas was there. Did you think that they ran out of steam or no?
I don't think so. I don't think it was steam. I don't think it was steam. Nope. I don't think it was. I think Florida just outplayed you, played a better game. You lost by one goal, one mistake. That was the difference. I don't think that was offside. I'd have to look at all the angles on it. My first blush was it was close, but I don't think so. Just pulling it up again here, rolling through it. I can't see exactly where the puck is, but no, I don't think it was offside.
Gerg texting, it says, not gas. They lost the battle of wills. Some people saying the officiating. I thought Cass, I don't think officiating was the issue for the Oilers at all tonight.
No, they
honestly.
just tried to stay out of it.
Yeah.
Right. They just stayed out of it. They didn't want to call anything, which, I mean, yeah, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. EMG texted in via the nasty chat, says, close game, tough loss. It was a great run. Another one says, it was a good game. This is from Ty. It says, it was a good game. Oilers were inches away from burying one before Florida scored 20 seconds later. Dusty, here's an interesting one. Says, have you ever seen a worse 90-second stretch with your own net empty? Cass?
Yeah. I'm glad he brought that up because it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I mean, there was 4 turnovers in the neutral zone with your net empty, trying to score a goal. Now you already were down. It's not the reason you lost. But yeah, no, it was an absolutely atrocious 6-on-5 there with the net empty. You cannot have 3 turnovers. You had 3 turnovers, Tom, in the neutral zone trying to gain entry. Not good enough. If it's not working, rip it in. You have more guys in them. Get everybody in there and battle for possession. Yeah, they did not execute that 6-on-5 very well at all.
No. All right, let's go back into the inbox. The Oilers fall 2-1 in Game 7, losing the Stanley Cup to the Florida Panthers. Hungover man in GP says, hey, Tom and Cass and everybody, how long until we hear how injured all the guys are? And thank you to EST for a great season. Signed, Concerned in GP. I understand the concern. There's going to be a lot of question marks. There's going to be a lot of movement in the next week or so. I think we're going to hear about, I'll just say this, Cass, I think we're going to hear about Connor McDavid potentially needing surgery. We're going to find out potentially about the extent of what Leon Draisaitl was dealing with. We might get some snippets. But if you recall, last year, they didn't really want to give away much, didn't want to use excuses. But I do know that a good chunk of those players were in very rough shape.
Well, yeah, and you played a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hockey, and the Oilers had to battle for a long stretch of it. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's banged up. Florida's going to have their fair share of guys that are banged up as well. They're not going to use it as an excuse. We shouldn't use it as an excuse. But yeah, we'll find out some snippets, and I'm sure some of it we might find out right away. Some of it will leak slowly. We'll hear bits and pieces, and we'll at some point be able to piece it all together. But yeah, they're probably not going to rush out to say those things. But we'll find out at some point.
RBM getting into the action, texting us at 780-218-9999. Damn, guys, says RBM, between my car breaking down 3 weeks ago, my phone getting broken a few weeks ago, and my father-in-law being in the hospital the past week or so, it's been a gong show, and it sucked. If they pulled it off tonight, that would have been something awesome and positive to help all that is going on. He's an Oilers fan, too. Not to be crap. Still a great season either way. From dead last, tied for 32nd, into 31st, all the way to Game 7 of the final. Incredible stuff. Good for them until next season, I suppose. Let's go to Stamp Hater. Says, thanks, fellas, for the great job this year. Next year is a huge chance to add at the deadline before the Bouchard and hopefully Draisaitl contracts kick in. Any ideas which D-man we send out to make room for Boberg? I'll say this, Stamp Hater, either CC or Kulak, probably Cody CC, but we'll see. That's what I would say. Cass, do you want to add to that?
We'll see. I mean, it all depends what teams are looking for. It all depends what's out there. It all depends what you can get. There's a lot, and for the Edmonton Oilers, you're gonna have to start making some of those decisions pretty quick. But there still is time. So they're not gonna make those decisions tonight. They're gonna feel it tonight and feel the hurt tonight, and then they will move on and start to prepare. But I mean, we'll have to see. Would be likely that one of those two is most likely going to go. Broberg had an extremely solid playoffs when he got put in the lineup. Skated very well. I thought he made a couple nice plays tonight with his legs, using them as well. Like he looks like he's ready. Looks like he's ready. So yeah, you might have to move some stuff around, but we'll have to see, because you have to look at the forward group as well. Who are you going to re-sign? Mark Brown, what are you going to do? What are the actual dollar values? Who's available on the market? What can you look at? Like there's going to be more that plays into that decision than just a simple, it's just going to be Broberg up and you have to move a defenseman out, because there's going to be a few more moving parts.
It's also worth noting, too, the new management team will have a big say in this, obviously.
Yep.
But I think the general direction is probably there. And we'll see, who A, gets named the new GM, and then B, what that new GM decides is the route forward, the proper route forward to get this team back to the Stanley Cup Final next year. Cass, when you look at this, someone came up to me while we were on the amenities floor trying to do the show from up there as we're having those technical difficulties with the our hookup to the internet there, a little bit wonky. Someone brought it up, and he had his little boy with me. And he goes, "You got to bring up '08." And I said, "What about '08?" He goes, "What about the Crosby commercial?" I was like, "What Crosby commercial?" And he goes, the Gatorade commercial where Crosby said that they're going to be back next year, and this isn't going to be it. And then sure enough, he was back next year. And I was like, well, that's a good point. So, is this one of those moments for the Oilers and McDavid? What do you think?
It could be. Could very well be. I mean, it was for the Florida Panthers as well, right? I mean, they lost in the finals last year, and they didn't take it to Game 7, and they came back. And this year, they won the Stanley Cup. So, very possible. The Oilers still have a window. I think the window has not passed. You have, I think, at least one more year. This next year is probably the biggest year from a window standpoint. It will be your best opportunity to win a Stanley Cup from a purely developmental, let's call it, standpoint as a team before some of those really, really big contracts kick in. So, yeah. I mean, if we're looking forward to next year, to say that the Oilers will have a very good chance, and I would assume betting odds will probably give the Oilers a good chance as well of winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, they're going to be in the mix, and they should be in the mix with the roster they have. So yeah, they could run it back. There'll be every opportunity to do so. Things will still have to go right. People will still have to be healthy or get healthy heading into the season, and they're going to have to find a way. So we'll see. I mean, here's to hoping. That would be nice.
The last line that the guy that came up to me as I was getting set to start the post-game show with his son said, McDavid ain't done. So I believe that. I really do, and we'll see. But a long way to go, and certainly the pain is very real for the team, and certainly the pain is very real for the fan base. We go to Sam now, who texts in and says, I know the refs didn't call a bunch of things on both sides, but do you think that favored Florida since their power play stunk anyhow? Cass?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but it's not like it's a major advantage. It's not like the other team had 8 power plays and you had none. They largely tried to just stay out of it. And yeah, does it favor Florida a little bit more? Yeah, a little bit, but it's not like it's throwing the game for the Florida Panthers. Right. If there would have been plays, there was one I thought that was an obvious call that they missed. I think it was in the second period, but it wasn't like there was egregious penalties all over the place that weren't being called. Like it was a tight game. Florida played a tight game. They checked well. There wasn't a lot of hooking. There wasn't a lot of holding, at least that I could see. And I in no way, shape, or form blame this on the officials. Now, does it favor Edmonton a little bit if there are more calls? Probably, because their special teams have been better. Mm-hmm. But that's not the game that we got. Those weren't the calls that were made. And the Edmonton Oilers have to overcome. If it's a low penalty opportunity game, you still have to find a way 5-on-5 to overcome. And they weren't able to, with only one goal 5-on-5 tonight.
Calgary Glenn texting in. Calgary Glenn says, hell of a run. Unbelievable, really. When no one believed in them, they believed in each other. They proved all the naysayers wrong time and time again. I will cherish this season. It was a hell of a run since mid-November until late June. Thanks, Tommy and Cass and everyone at EST. You guys made this run extra enjoyable. Unfortunately, we didn't get that last 6-0 cupper tonight from Calgary Glenn. They got 15 of them out of a possible 16, Calgary Glenn. Appreciate the kind words so very, very much. Let's go to this one. Says, Oilers played good enough to win 5 of 7 games. Just sucks to be here again. This was the first playoff game the Oilers lost when giving up 2 goals or less. Cass, that's pretty telling. First time Skinner loses anything past game number 4. Yeah, incredible, right?
Yeah, no, it was incredible. And again, I know there's still lots of people that are like, "Oh, Oilers need to solve their goaltending problem," and I'm like, like blaming this on Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
You scored one goal today. Stuart Skinner should have played with McDavid stick and joined the rushes, and then they would have won, Tom, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian with you. YouTube, Trev, holding things down back at ESTHQ on the city's West End. I am live at the satellite studios now because we had some technical glitches up on the amenities floor overlooking downtown Edmonton and Ice District. It would have been nice. It looked good, but it was getting cold and windy up there. So Awanek went and took it all down. No men on the streets tonight. If they had won, Awanek would have been down on the streets, coming at us live, giving us a sense of what was going on there. It was a noble idea. A, the team needed to win, and B, maybe it would have worked. Maybe it wouldn't have. At least we tried a few different things tonight, and we appreciate your patience, and we're back and we're running and humming on all cylinders right now. The Oil Stream post-game show, of course, brought to you by GCL Diesel, proud suppliers of genuine OE products from manufacturers like Bosch, Denso, Garrett, Borg-Warner, and Wholeset. Again, big thank you to GCL Diesel for hopping on board. Get those texts in 780-218-9999. We'll let you know if there's any audio available. We'll pass that along your way. This text coming in from JD says, with such a fast turnaround to the draft, what is the situation with the GM position and Holland? How do you transition so fast? I'm going to take the Holland portion of this, and then Cass, maybe if you want to take the how do you transition so fast portion, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
All right. So again, JD asking, with the fast turnaround to the draft, what is the situation with the GM position and Holland? There will be a new GM, last I heard. And we talked about it on Saturday as well on Hello Hockey. Ken Holland will run the draft coming up this week, and then his contract's done at the end of the month. I've also been told, and you could hear it on Hello Hockey with David Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey insider, that this will be Jeff Jackson's call on the next GM of the team, not Paul Coffey, not Daryl Cates, but I'm sure those guys are going to have to give it their blessing on his call, Jeff Jackson's call. So that is the information I've been given. The Oilers have played this very close to their chest. They've also had the ability to cloak everything with the Stanley Cup Final run, which made it easier to keep things hush-hush. Now the attention will shift to that. But in terms of the draft, it is going to be Kenny Holland running the draft and his people. And then after that, we'll see what Jeff Jackson and his crew have been working on to get the next GM in place of this team. Okay, JD's second part of that question, and Cass, I'm going to hand it off to you, is how do you transition so fast?
Yeah, well, I think it would be, I don't know if foolish is the right word, ignorant. I don't think that's the right word either. I don't know what the right word would be, but you can't assume that they haven't been planning for this. They've known it's been coming for a while. Jeff Jackson has known that this is coming for a while. Ken Holland has known that this was coming for a while. So the plans are already going to be in place. Now, how fast we hear about them is one thing, but you're not going to turn over coaching. From a hockey ops standpoint, there's not going to be massive immediate changes. You're going to see some, I would assume, but it's not going to be like you're completely tearing everything down, ripping it apart. I'm assuming that it could be someone from within the organization that's already familiar with everything, that's going to have a hand in the pot. Now, I could be wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to change much from a player's standpoint.
Okay.
Again, even if you were to hire a new GM tomorrow and have them run the draft, not much is going to change. They're not going to fire the whole scouting staff and change everything over and have a way different draft than what was planned heading into it. Like everything's going to stay pretty much the same. You'll see some tweaks along the way once the decision is actually finalized or made, or officially finalized and officially made. But yeah, it's going to be it'll be a smooth transition. I guess that's what I was going to say. You're not going to see a massive uprooting and changing of everything. They're just going to kind of run with it.
All right, great answer, Cass. Thank you for giving us the update and how that usually gets handled on the other side. And good question from JD. Valid, considering we have to pivot pretty quickly this week as the Oilers prepare for the draft. We've got the awards show coming up in a day or two, and then we have the draft this weekend, and then free agency next week. It's going to be a crazy 7 days, absolutely. And unfortunately for Oil Country, not being able to celebrate a Stanley Cup victory, that sixth cup will have to wait. Let's go to Chris, who says, guys, I feel like Knoblauch's magic ran out tonight. Full credit to the Panthers. They were the better team tonight. However, I think Knoblauch shortened his bench and went to McDry way too early. Had lots of success keeping the whole team involved, but that didn't happen tonight. 29-97, we saw a lot of them, especially in the third period. Cass, what do you think of the strategy or the way Chris Knoblauch went about handling the situation he was in?
Yeah. One of the tough things towards the end of the game was you didn't get any whistles.
True.
Because whistles buy you time, right? Every time there's a whistle, they buy you time. Centermen can take their time getting in. You have more time for players to recover on the bench. McDavid and Draisaitl recover on the bench. I didn't mind them going to, the supernova nuclear option. To me, it was a fine time to do it. But the challenge was the whistles. Really, it was the whistles. Now, part of that is, the part of the mindset has to be from everyone else. We got to get the puck to the net. And we got to get bodies to the net. So they're forced to freeze it or they're forced to ice it. And that maybe didn't happen enough because, someone ices the puck, you buy those guys 20 to 30 seconds of extra rest. And that to me didn't happen. So I don't know, as a coach, you can't really plan around that. You can't plan on, there's going to be no whistles. Even when he had to put them out and take his timeout, that's earlier than assuming he wanted to use his timeout. But you had to, just because you didn't get any whistles, which again, how are you supposed to know that that's not supposed to happen? So I think he was in tough, Knoblauch, on that one. Now someone might disagree, and Tommy, maybe feel free to if you do. But to me, that was the biggest culprit. And I put that to the players on the ice. If you know the situation, you need a whistle, even if it's just lobbing a puck at the glove side of the net. You got to get it there so that he freezes it, and you got to get bodies there. But that was the game as a whole, where they struggled at times to do that and to do it well. Not getting whistles, but just getting pucks and bodies to the net.
Yeah, the pucks and bodies to the net. Kudos to the Panthers. And again, I thought they had a lot of good sticks too, taking away lanes and all that. And a few times there was a reluctance from the Oilers to shoot. I think of that Ekholm play where he walked in, waited, and then he tried to.
And no one was there.
Nobody was there. Shoot it. He scored from that angle, I think, a couple of times this year, or put it into the pads of Bobrovsky and try to create chaos. But listen, man, this is the Stanley Cup Final. This is Game 7. He is an elite NHL defenseman. I have no right to tell him what to do with the puck. And 9 times out of 10, he makes the right decision. But if he had done that, maybe they would have found a way to bang home some garbage, because that was one of the few times where they had created and manufactured an opportunity, created a seam to slip through and a look at the net, a clean one at least. And that was one of the few times they didn't take it. So, that kind of stands out. And of course, the post by Bouchard stands out as well.
Yep.
So, game of inches, man. Game of inches.
Absolutely.
Right before the Reinhart goal, Holloway getting knocked down and Kulikov knocking the puck away. It was there. You know what, Cass? I think it was there. And props to the Panthers for playing solid defensively and showing up and snapping that 3-game losing streak. But the Oilers put up a hell of a fight. They really did.
Yep, they did.
Let's go to Mike, who texts in and says, hey, guys, I don't think I can listen tonight, but maybe tomorrow. I just want to say I'm very proud of the boys, but this is so much worse. Knocked out early, you're mad, but now I'm feeling sad, devastated. The hockey world lost a great story. Heard McDavid won. He could get 2 Fs. Saw Turtle Boys comments. Ass. Makes even worse. Turned off. Couldn't watch that crap. Thanks for having a space to get it out. Great first season, EST. Oil will be back stronger next year and for years to come. Think Dry has unfinished business now and will sign at least. So Mike feeling the burn and the pain of the loss, and we'll regroup tomorrow. I think a lot of people feel the same way Mike does tonight as the Oilers fall. Rod Z says McDavid wins back-to-back Conn Smythe and busts Gretzky's 47 points in playoffs next season. Cass, that'd be something. Wraps up with what, 42 this year? Incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
What can you say about his postseason?
Something.
Yeah.
We'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Let's hope we see it. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be wild. And the guy was brilliant. The guy was brilliant this year and was injured for a large chunk of it. Again, we're going to probably find out that he needs or potentially has to go through surgery. People were keeping that on the DL. How about McDavid winning the Conn Smythe, though? Just a thought on that.
Well, pretty hard not to give it to him. Pretty rare. I wasn't sure if it was actually going to happen or not. Mm-hmm. Just because they didn't win. And again, that just naturally there's a bias towards it, but it's pretty hard to argue with his point production, smashing records that have stood for quite some time. But I'm sure he'd have the other hardware. Much rather have the Stanley Cup instead of the Conn Smythe, but it is great. I mean, great for him to win it. It was an amazing overall performance throughout the playoffs. Again, just speaks to how special a player he is. Mm-hmm. Him and the rest of the Oilers, Tom, wanted the other hardware instead, but what can you do?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. And add another one to his personal collection, but he wants the big one, and so close for Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the rest of the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go to BB. Texted in and says, just joined the post game. First comment is regarding refs. Shut up about the refs. That's stupid. BB, yeah, we kind of put that to bed early. It wasn't the refs that decided this game. As Cass put it, and I think he was right, tried to stay out of the way. Let's go to this one from Northside Sandwich. Says, no one at the end of the day should be upset. The Oilers finished as the second best team in a league of 32 teams, which is crazy. Overall, nothing to complain about. I am on CTV Toronto tomorrow at 4 a.m. Our time to talk Oilers. Should I wear my EST shirt or Oilers sweater? What would you say to that, Cass? With
EST
Northside
shirt.
Wear the EST shirt.
Wear the EST shirt. Do it.
Let's go to this one. First time texter says, do you think the UFAs will take cheaper deals because the Oil have one of the better chances at making it back to the finals and hopefully winning Lord Stanley? Cass, you talk to players,
Yep.
You know the inner workings, you deal with a lot of players professionally, business-wise, and you played. I think this is something where you might have much more expertise than I would in regard to how players
it does. It has an impact. Guys want to win, especially players that haven't had that chance. They want to go somewhere where they have a chance to win. But, money is also a thing. Americans also don't like playing in Canada. They typically like to stay in the States, so it's tougher to draw UFAs up to Canada if they're American. So it limits you a little bit with that. But, yeah, if you're looking between a team that is in the toilet, if you're looking at Columbus, if you're looking at even like I guess Utah is a little bit, they're not the bottom feeder right now, but like if you're looking at one of the bottom teams in the league, let's say like Chicago, and there's a difference of $750,000 to play between Chicago and Edmonton on a deal. Well, you might look at Edmonton to say, I have a chance at winning a cup and I want to win. That can play in the favor of the Edmonton Oilers to say, hey, you have a chance to play with McDavid and Draisaitl. You could have a chance to win a cup. It's a strong selling feature. It's not the only selling feature. It's not going to be the primary driver. But can it help? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It can help. Maybe. Depends on the player. So we'll have to see on that. But yeah, some guys might be able to take a little bit less because they want to win. It could happen. Yeah,
it could happen. This text comes in and it just says, I'm a Florida Panthers fan. Congrats on a well-played series. Said, thanks for the text. Enjoy the spoils of victory and cheers. So a nice text. There you go. Ron from Mundare says, had the Oilers won, what day would the parade have been? It would have been Wednesday, Ron. Yeah, not going to happen. And the route was, Cass, I think it was Rogers Place to the legislature grounds.
Yeah.
That was the plan. So we found out about that. That would have been cool.
That would have been really cool.
Would have been really cool. Would have been a nice touch. This one from JCD780 says, would have hurt less being swept, gutless effort in Game 7. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the gutless effort. And being swept, I applaud the Oilers for what they were able to accomplish in these last 10
Like
days.
I said it earlier, Tom, like I think it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be disappointed and angry and butthurt. Like it's totally fine to feel those things, but you still need to be proud of what they accomplish. It is a hard thing to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes.
It is a hard thing, and it wasn't because they didn't battle. It wasn't because they didn't work hard. It wasn't because they didn't try. They wanted to win that hockey game more than any of us wanted them to win that hockey game. They desperately wanted to win it. They didn't get it done. They didn't play well enough to do it, but it wasn't because of a lack of try or a lack of desire. So I would fight back against that all day.
Yeah.
I
don't agree with that, JCD. I don't agree with would have hurt less being swept. I know that the hope rises once they get to a 7th game and do it the way they did, but I'd rather see a team that I cheer for go down that way than just getting, brushed aside like the Oilers did in 2022 in the conference final against the Colorado Avalanche. And then in terms of tonight's game, I would not call that gutless one bit. Call that gutless one bit. I think they battled their asses off, and I think they ran into a Florida team that battled its asses off. And at the end of the day, one opportunity Florida got after the Oilers had a close one, and they took advantage. And that was the difference tonight. That's how I look at it. Cass, anything there?
No, I think that summarizes it well. I'm just sad. Sad and disappointed.
It's sad. It is sad. It would have been awesome to see this city celebrate. It would have been fantastic.
It would have been a party, Tom. It would have been fantastic. But as Dusty said in the nasty chat, on the positive side of things, we're going to be partying all summer long at Edmonton Sports Talk.
Yes,
so there's going to be lots of great content, lots of things to talk about. Going to be a short off season from a hockey standpoint, but lots of other stuff going on. So at least we can take solace in that. That's something, isn't it?
That is something. Very well said, even keeled. Logical, Cass, as always. We got a couple more minutes with you, if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna read off a couple of texts, and then we'll get your final thoughts on the season after what was a tremendous season working with you at our new station. And I'll get to the sappy stuff at the end. Don't worry about it. But let's go to this one from Jeff, who texts in and says, "Thanks for your post-game coverage throughout the year, Tommy and Cass and Trev, Edmonton Sports Talk crew. It was a tremendous season for the team and your show. Too bad the Oil fell one win short." Norman, Jeff, thank you. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate that. And thank you for being there with us through what was a crazy season. Let's go to Norman. A Combine says, "Well, boys, tough loss. The sun will rise. Next item of business, EST Golf Classic. Have a good night, guys." Norman, a Combine. Norm, Trace, and the boys, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the text. Appreciate it. Justin says, "Tommy boy, not a lot of nice comments from me in the playoffs. Zero confidence. They had a great run. Have a great summer. See you next year." Justin, thank you for keeping the expletives out of that one. I appreciate it. Let's go to Andrew. Says, "They worked their asses off all season. I'm sad, but come on. We're saying the team didn't give an F? Go watch another team if that's what you think. Seriously." And that was in regard to earlier text from JCD, who said it was gutless in Game 7. Disagree wholeheartedly, JCD. Appreciate the text. You know that. Brandon from Windsor says, "Not sure about gutless, but only one team showed up from puck drop. Panthers wanted it more." I disagree with that. I understand the sentiment, though. And then, okay, let's go to Johnny the Accountant, and then we'll get Cass's final thoughts. Trev will work on getting some audio and video as we roll along here on the GCL Diesel post-game show. Edmonton falling 2-1 in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Johnny the Accountant texting and says, "You guys need to start an annual EST cow race event where teams race on cows on wheels like the guys downtown. You can call it the EST Riding of the Bulls." Johnny the Accountant. Cass, did you see those guys?
No, I didn't. I talked to some people that went, though, and they said it was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Said it was a ton of fun. So that's one where I'm like, it probably would have been pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, Cass, let's wind things down here. Give us your thoughts on the season as a whole, the way things have gone, switching over from TSN 1260 to Edmonton Sports Talk. and then I'll wrap it up by asking you your thoughts on the team going forward. So let's do a look back at the season from your point of view.
Yeah, well, it was Tommy, as you know, and most of you know, it was a wild ride. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs to start, and then just some amazing things that were just a fun to be a part of and a fun to watch. I mean, the streak was fantastic. Watching them claw back into a playoff position and try to make a run at the division title for the regular season was a blast. Getting to see them just get rolling was fun. The playoffs was it's just exciting, right? It's just exciting. And one of the wonderful, beautiful things about sports to me is, for as many trolls as there are out there all the time in the nasty chat, sports has this beautiful way of just pulling people together and unifying people, behind a team and behind a city. And so it's just fun to be a part of that. And that's, things like EST are important, I think, because they just kind of allow an outlet for that to just flourish even a little bit more. Again, it's a beautiful thing. And I love sports for it, because you can be from, if we look at this Oilers run and in the playoffs, people from all kinds of different backgrounds, whether it be cultural or racial or socioeconomic or whatever. It's like people from just every different walk of life with every different belief or ideology or anything. It's like you all get on board and cheer for the same team, and you all get together and you talk about it, and you get frustrated about the same things, or you get excited about the same things. And so for me, that's always what I pull and remember about moments like this, and for all the disappointment we will have because the Oilers lost and fans will have. It's like you can look back and remember inside of that some of just the moments. Again, I told you before the game, got to watch the game with my girls and my dad, and to me it's just like, we got to do that and all cheering and seeing them cheer and get excited. It's a wonderful thing. And then, just getting to talk with you guys and hang out. It's fun too. So as I look back, I go, it was another year of getting to cheer and of getting to feel the negative emotions along with the positive emotions and just be a part of it. And to me, it's a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful thing. Now looking forward, Tommy, it's going to be a short off season. There are going to be some changes, but largely the group is going to be similar to what we see now. You're hoping we don't have as many negative emotions as we had to suffer through at the start of this season. But they're going to be a really good team next year. The West is going to be tough again next year. But I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see players develop. Excited to see Stuart Skinner. He's still very young. Step into another season of maturity with a big playoff run. McDavid come back with an even bigger chip on his shoulder and a desire to win. Draisaitl with the same. Some of the young players that are developing, like a Broberg, like a Holloway. It's going to be exciting. So we are in for another exciting offseason and another exciting year. We just got to get through the first little disappointment here that we are feeling right now.
Well said, as always, Cass. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and this wraps up our 6th season working together on Oilers pre- and post-game. I had to double check it because I couldn't believe it. 6 years you and I have been working pre- and post-game, and it's been a hell of a ride, buddy. Yeah,
we're still just a bunch of idiots, but it's we're yeah. We brought in Trev. That's why we needed you, Trev.
Yes.
So we're happy you're here too now.
Well, this idiot is looking forward to year number 7 with you. And Cass, tremendous work all season long, my friend. You were great, and I love working with you. So be well. Have a great summer, brother. And I know we'll be crossing paths on some of the shows in the off season too.
Thanks, buddy. We absolutely will. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Trev, fantastic rookie season. You did a wonderful job. We love you too.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's actually so kind of you. I love you guys. This was awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
There you go. Matt Cassian, our game analyst, one final time, wrapping it up on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Cass was fantastic all year long. A huge thank you to him. And I do look forward to him coming back next year. I'm pretty sure he will. We'll have to confirm that, obviously. But those logistics get taken care of later on. Let's get you two, Trev, back on here. Trev, what are you doing? You handling this okay? We're kind of settling in here. We've got a good groove.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you doing okay, buddy?
Yeah. I'll be good. It's just still sinking in, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a pro and whatnot. It's just tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. When
I
you
get it.
Yeah. So
I get it.
I didn't even realize I still had my jersey on my bads on that part. So as soon as
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was like, man, because I was like so lost, and then all of a sudden you left, and I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, I got my jersey on right now. So my apologies there. I took it off the second as soon as I got the camera off me. But yeah, it's no, it's been a hell of a run, man. Obviously, not the outcome a lot of Oilers fans and the Nasties were hoping for, but I mean, yeah, it's just it's tough, man. It's tough. It's still I don't even know. I can't even put it into words. I'm still working on video though, so I'll try and get
Anything?
that. Nothing.
Anything?
Nothing.
Okay. You know what? We'll play that by ear. I'll tell you this. I'll tell a little story. We do have some business to take care of. We'll get to the Christopher Boyle big save of the game as well as the player of the game. That's coming up shortly. Keep those texts coming in 780-218-9999. And of course, get into the nasty chat as well. Thank you to everybody who's either listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and of course, the EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player. And to those watching on YouTube, we appreciate you so very much. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the algorithm and all that. And that's kind of one of the unique new things with our new station is we've added YouTube, and it's opened us up to, I think, a new audience and a different platform for people to ingest and take in our station and our shows and our content. I think it also gives us an opportunity to reach out to more people compared to before on terrestrial AM radio. And we're thankful that listen, we get the trolls. It happens. It comes with the territory when you open up a show on YouTube to everybody. But for the most part, it's been phenomenal. So Trev says the videos are on their way. We will get to those interviews shortly from the Oilers locker room after they lose the Stanley Cup final in the 7th game. 2-1 to the Florida Panthers in a gut punch. Absolutely. I do have this story. I have this story. I remember after the 2017 loss in Game 7 in the second round to the Anaheim Ducks, I had to do my post-game stuff. I was in the room. Obviously, dejection, especially with the way that series had gone. A loss for words, and obviously the guys were in rough shape. And then, shot my stuff and then went to the locker room. And I ran into the equipment managers and the training staff and my boss, Mark Ciampa at the time, my camera guy and producer, Jeff Nash, was also there. And then we ran into Jeff Lang, Brad Harrison, Sevy Lines, and I think Shane Olmstead was there on the equipment staff and a few others. And my boss and I, Mark, we planned on just going and having some beverages somewhere despite the Oilers' loss. And we knew it would be a tough flight home back to Edmonton the next day. And the trainers were just like, there's nothing left to do, boys. Just let's have some beers. And they had buckets of beer in the locker room, the gear airing out, laundry being done by the Ducks auxiliary equipment staff. And we just sat there and for like 2-3 hours, just drinking beers and talking about what a crazy season it's been. All the ups and downs of the 16-17 season, what was coming next for the group, who was hurt, how they got hurt, what does this mean for the organization, how's everybody back home taking it? Could you imagine the party if the Oilers had gotten to the conference final in 2017? Those were the things we kind of sat around and talked about, and it was interesting. And I thought to myself, boy, like, where the hell am I? I'm in the Anaheim Ducks visitors locker room where the Oilers just lost Game 7 of the second round and just shooting the breeze with the trainers. And nobody had a impulse or desire to do anything else. And it was kind of cathartic. It was interesting. But it was an experience I'll never forget. And I can imagine that's kind of what that crew's going through right now. Probably 100 times worse, though, considering how close they were to a Stanley Cup final and championship. Incredible. But yeah, that reminds me of sitting around with the trainers and the equipment staff and just drinking beers, and they were banged up and in pain and sad. How could you not be at that time? I worked for the organization, and I'll always remember that. So I feel like they're probably going through something like that right now, and they put in a lot of tough, long, thankless hours, among many for the staff. But yeah, so they hurt just as much as the fan base does. They live it. They're right there. They want to win it too. And yeah, so that's just a little story I wanted to share. Trev, do we have audio and video? Anything to add to that?
2 minutes on Connor McDavid, if that's okay. If you want to stall for a little bit longer, read some text if that works.
That.
Beauty.
Yep. Anything else on that? Did you listen to the story? No, you're busy.
Yeah, no. That's it's always. I mean, that's part of why I love what we're doing here, Tommy. It's to get that inside perspective that not a lot of other stations offer. So hearing those stories, I mean, yeah, like that's huge, man. I love hearing that stuff, and it resonates with me. That's the stuff it's behind closed doors, right? Like everyone loves hearing that. So no, I guarantee it's probably a little bit worse right now. And we're gonna hear from the guys pretty soon. But no, that was good, Tommy.
Nice, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Bye, Pop. Had to boot him out. I look forward to booting out the rest of your 7 other accounts, you troll. I'll just add that in. That felt good to say because Pop is a douchebag. Can I just say that? I'm going to say it.
Yes, let's go.
Sorry, like if you're that much of a dork that you have to come on here with 7 different accounts, I'm going to kick your ass out. Get the hell out of here, Pop, you douchebag. Let's go to Russell. It says, hey guys, thanks for everything. Gut punch loss. It hurts, but we'll get over it. Russell, thank you for the text. This one says, hello from SCWAZ. The Oilers were flat at times, but Florida brought it in the first period and then hung on somewhat the rest of the way. Oilers emptied the tank, came up short. Great work on the show, boys. On to next year. Thank you, sir. Phil from a balcony in Banff says, so goodbye, Stanley Cup Road and the downtown party hounds. You can plant me in a tap house because the chase is over now. What do you think I'll do now? I'd like to be numb of the pain. It'll take me a couple of vodka and tonics to get me on my feet again. Phil, be well. Thanks for the text, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's go to Ken. It says, Tom and the boys, some random thoughts as I work through my disappointment. 1, what a season to coincide with the first year of VST. 2, Nuge was invisible in this series and yet somehow escaped criticism. I disagree. He had some good moments, Ken. He was a bit quiet at times, though. I agree with that portion of it. 3, I'm less upset with this loss than 06. I expected Connor and Leon used to this disappointment as further fuel to get the cup next season. 4, call me crazy, but this loss may help in getting Leon to sign an extension, unfinished business, and all that. 5, and finally, great job, Tommy. Another great pre- and post-game season. I accidentally stumbled onto the show with a rant from the Latino Heat and have been a loyal listener since. You and your crew are great storytellers, and I look forward to the next season. Ken, I'm so happy you brought up the Latino Heat. He was super nervous all day long, and he did bring the heat back in the day, and he still does. And I really appreciate that text very, very much. All right, we do have the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. His post-game availability is up. Trev, tee it up.
Yeah, I mean, we just heard Tommy say it there. This is Captain Connor McDavid after tonight's 2-1 loss in the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah.
For a team that came all the way back, and what was it tonight? What do you think the difference was that prevented this?
You knew it was going to be tight, Game 7 for the Cup. You knew it was going to be a real tight game, and it was going to come down to one thing here and there. And we're an inch away from going ahead 2-1 right before they go ahead 2-1, and it's tough. They do a good job of shutting things down, and we had our looks, just didn't find it.
This group has been through so much. What will you remember about this group and this ride?
Yeah, it's just the resilience of the group. Yeah, as you said, we went through a lot. Ups and downs, and came that close. Yeah.
How proud are you of that group?
Yeah, really proud. Proud of the way we fought all year. We were behind the 8 ball almost immediately, and we fought an uphill climb for months and months and months, and yeah, just sucks.
To come back from 3-0 to get to this point, is there any kind of, not solace, but do you take a lot of pride in being able to make this a series? Looked like you guys were down and out.
Yeah. Goes back to the character of the group that we showed all year long. We showed all year long that we could fight back, even in the most dire situations. And obviously tough to be down 3, and tough to string 4 in a row against a good team like that. But we were right there.
Kind of your thoughts on winning constantly?
Obviously, I guess an honor with the names on that trophy, but yeah.
Well, you had so many good chances there, yourself and Zach. Were you thinking, okay, we've come back so many other games, we're going to get that one late?
We thought, we never stopped believing. We really believed. We really believed we were going to get one, and I have that one in front. Zach has a whack at it. Bush has got all kinds of looks. We had lots of looks, which didn't go.
That high tip, you were in the slot, you kind of had just a little bit too much, because it seemed like a set play that you guys came very close on over to the reactions.
There's not really many set plays 30 seconds into your shift. But yeah, there was just an opening, and Bush saw me coming from the corner. I just tried to get there, and he makes a great play, and I'm just getting a stick on it and hoping for the best. And obviously it goes a little high.
What can you say about the support that you had back home, back in Edmonton throughout this ride?
Yeah, our fans are the best, and they deserve to win just as much as any of us do. They were with us the whole way, and never stopped believing, and disappointing we couldn't come through.
What's the most devastating advantage that
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, because you came so close, it wasn't like they jumped on you early and then you just couldn't catch up.
I thought they had a good. They had a great first period. They came out flying, and we did a good job of surviving. And coming out of that period, tied was a win for us. And then I thought for 40 minutes, we played well. I thought for 40 minutes we had lots of looks. Maybe if we could find a way to score on that power play, the game's different. We have the looks that we want. It just doesn't go. I wish I had a better explanation for you.
We always hear that this is the toughest trophy to win, and even to get to a final like this, Connor. Did this sort of run in this experience make that real? Just how tough this is, and in words, how hard it is to get to where you guys got to.
Oh yeah, it's difficult. You got to go through a grueling season. It's long. You got to go through 4 high-end opponents, and you got to beat them 4 times. I mean, it's as difficult to do as you can think. Like it's tough. Guys that have won it say the same thing. It's tough.
There's Connor McDavid, the 2024 Conn Smythe Trophy winner, and he does it in a losing cause. 42 points this postseason, 8 goals, 34 assists. Sums it up there. Not much else you can say, really. I'll get to a couple more texts. Trev, do we have any more audio, or is that it?
Yes, we do. I got Leon Draisaitl, Matthias Ekholm, and Chris Knoblauch.
All right. Let's just, we'll save some text for a little bit later. We do have to get to the big save of the game as well as the player of the game, but let's hear from Leon Draisaitl here.
Turned our franchise around pretty much, so just love sharing the ice with him, and he's just a really, really special person.
Talk about this trophy being, the hardest one to win, and even this series, the hardest one to get to. Just, can you put into words sort of how tough this is to get here, and maybe what you learned?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to put into words right now. It's really, really hard. You're one period, one shot away from maybe winning the thing, and now you gotta go through 82 regular season games again and play well enough to even get a kick at it. And yeah, it's hard right now.
Yeah, what would you say about the makeup of this group that from afar seemed to be pretty close, and obviously, with pro sports, rosters do change?
Yeah, very special. Like I said earlier, just so much character. Yeah, hopefully most guys will be back. Obviously, there's always a bit of turnover, but yeah, just really, really proud.
What can you say about the fans back home and how they helped drag you guys into this and support you through this ride?
Yeah, I mean, we got the best fans in the league. It's not even close in my books. Always stuck with us throughout the hard times, and even being down 3 games. It was loud. They were pushing us. So, yeah, very thankful for the support back home.
Leon, we saw 2 years ago you battled through an injury, and when you get to 4 rounds, there's lots of guys in there. That can you describe just the wear and tear that it takes, maybe on you and just the whole team to get here?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is battling things. Some guys maybe a little bit more than other guys, but yeah, I don't know what to say right now. It's just obviously heartbreaking, and yeah, we're right there.
It seemed like Connor said when you were down a goal and it was late, like there's belief, right? You guys believe you can do that and get it there. Just talk us through that right into that last game.
Yeah, I think we just created that over the last couple of years, and especially this year. Yeah, just always believed in what we can do and that we can win. And you can't really get much closer than what we were. But at the end of the day, we won't be able to buy anything from that.
Leon, Connor better than most. How difficult is it to go in the MVP and like this?
I don't think he cares. I mean, it speaks to how amazing of a hockey player he is. But there's no player in the world that wants to win a Stanley Cup more than him, and does everything right every single day, just to win it one day. And it's really hard, especially him, being sad and yeah, being disappointed at the end.
You talked, Leon, about being very proud of your group. Is there 1 or 2 specific things that really stand out to you? What made you so proud of your team?
I think just the character. Early in the year, a lot of people wrote us off. Vancouver series, a lot of people wrote us off. Dallas was a walkover for the Stars against us, being down 3-0, battling all the way back. Just, I don't know. There's lots of things to be proud of.
Can you be hungrier? You guys are hungry to win, I know. Does this make you even hungrier?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, you can always get a little bit hungrier, but I think for the most part it's just learning lessons. Right, we've done that over the last couple of years very well, and implemented those lessons. But it's tough to drag a lesson out of this one when you're really one shot or 2 shots away from accomplishing everything.
Yep, probably no more lessons to be had for the Edmonton Oilers. They've kind of gone through the ringer when it comes to getting schooled, when it comes to winning Stanley Cups. They've lost to the last 3 Stanley Cup champions now, and we'll look to put an end to that next year. And maybe we're talking about the Oilers this time next year, lifting the Stanley Cup above their heads. All right, we need to get to some business. It is time now for the big save of the game, brought to you by Christopher Boyle, business owner and tax saver. Take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor with over 17 years in the business. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization or a fractured or broken bone. You'll get benefits paid from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the cost and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income, protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. For the big save of the game, we hand it over to YouTube, Trev.
Oh, okay, sweet. Here, wait. Sorry, I misread your text there.
Are
wrong.
you new to the show?
No, I misread. I thought you said in the text there that you were doing it, and I was like, oh, sweet. So I was confused by that.
We'll do it.
My apologies on that. Yes, okay, I do have it. Sorry about that, guys. The big save of the game for the last time of the season. It is going to, I'm giving it to Stuart Skinner. At the time, it was a very timely save. I tried looking for it. I don't know, Zach Tecum's just got away with these videos because he found them every single time he did the save of the game. And I have yet to do so, but let me just break it down for you. Stuart Skinner, he makes a huge blocker save. This was 12 minutes into the second. It was a grade A scoring shot, a grade A scoring chance on Carter Verhaeghe, who is a hell of a player, and you give this guy time and day, he will usually score. Not tonight. Stuart Skinner said no at this time, and then he did let one in later. But, yep, that is your big save of the game. It was a huge save at the time. It was 1-1, so that's the way she goes, but doesn't matter in the long run.
All right, good job, Trev. Get ready for the player of the game. This is going to be you again, as always. Damon Bunting, Remax Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Trev, take it away, pal.
Man, this is tough. Just
do what's right.
Do what's right?
Do what's right.
I don't know what's right, Tommy.
Just do what's right in your heart.
In my heart?
Yeah.
Take
off the Oilers glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's gotta be. It's probably gotta be. Let's give it to Carter Verhaeghe. We just talked about him. That was a pretty huge save. There's a lot of Panthers you could probably give it to, but yeah, he opened up the scoring. He got a goal. He got an assist. 2 points. He was a +2. He didn't really show a heck of a whole lot in the series, and that was kind of the question. I was thinking about it a lot today, man. I'm like, Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart. I talked about it with Cass when you were reconnecting. I'm like, these are the two guys that haven't really done anything, and of course, tonight's the night. So I guess I'm gonna give it to Carter Verhaeghe. Player of the game goes to you.
Nicely done, Trev. That was the final Damon Bunting Remix Elite Player of the Game of the season. Okay, let's get to a few texts. Keep those coming in, 780-218-9999. Who do we have left for interviews? I think we'll just maybe do one more.
We got Matthias Ekholm and Chris Knoblauch.
And those are separate from one another?
Yeah.
All right. Which one do you think is probably better? Probably Ekholm, I would think.
Ekholm's is only a minute.
Okay,
Knoblauch spoke for like 6 minutes.
Okay. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll do Knoblauch after I read off a couple of texts, and then we'll have some final thoughts and say goodbye to everybody for the last time in the 2023-2024 season. Let's go to this text from TWPG204 from Manitoba. It says, hell of a year for EST. Hell of a run for the Oilers. Thanks, Tommy, Cass, YTT, Dusty, LTE, and everyone at EST. Thank you very much. Out of Manitoba, we appreciate that. Neil from Nanaimo says, man, oh man, toughest trophy to win in sports. Oilers coming back the way they did was something to remember. Hurts pretty hard nonetheless. Can't imagine how the players feel. This one says, congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Kudos to the Edmonton Oilers for a remarkable season and playoff run from two Habs fans rooting for Edmonton. That's a great text. Thank you very much. This one says, my boyfriend said the Panthers will win, but I believe the Oilers will. That was from way earlier in the day. Let's go to some more recent ones. Burgerler says, this is why you take the conference trophy. You take the Conn Smythe. Pretty ungrateful look. I hate that hockey tells you that your worth changes based on winning or losing. Let's go to this one. From Paul, says the Oilers have now lost to the last three Stanley Cup champions in Colorado, Vegas, and now Florida. Nobody wants to hear it tonight, but that was a hell of a run for the Oilers. It won't be their last. This team will be back in the finals at some point over the next 1 to 3 years, and the next time they'll finish. Dusty tweeted, I really think that goes to show how close they are and how far they've come. As fans, we've gone from paying attention to who the Oilers are drafting in December to watching them lose by 1 goal in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Hardest trophy to win in all of sports. I'm very proud of my favorite team. I grew up an Oilers fan, and I've watched every game for as long as I can remember through good and bad times, and I'll die an Oilers fan. This team has a lot going for them. Thanks, Snipe and Chad. Paul, appreciate that, buddy. Now goes by Snipe and Chad in our text line. Couple more texts after we hear from Oilers head coach Chris Knoblauch. Let's do that right now.
Just maybe give us a thought on the way the game went and what you think the difference was in this one.
I thought they were the better team in the first period. I thought they came out with a little more urgency. I thought they won a lot of puck races. I thought we defended well, but in the second and the third period, I thought we found our game. I thought we played really well. Couldn't capitalize on our opportunity, especially in the third period where we had a couple glorious chances. I thought it was a game that could have went either way. So,
left side, second row, Derek.
Hey, Chris. I was just get a thought on Connor. He just gave so much, and just maybe a thought on the leader he was, and he doesn't really care about winning the Conn Smythe. He just wanted to win that trophy. Just a thought on him.
Yeah, you think about the year that Connor had, 100 assists, leading our team, the performance he had in this playoff, especially in this final round when we're down 3-0, and then he comes out with 8 points in 2 games. He's our leader. He's our best player, and it's obviously everyone wanted to, win it for the team, and would like to obviously do it him, the captain of our team. But I can't say enough things about what he provides, the leadership and what he does on the ice.
Left side, front row, Josh.
Chris, this group has been through so much, such a roller coaster of a season. What will you remember about this group as you guys part ways?
Just that they didn't quit. There's a lot of times where it's difficult, whether, at the start of the season when this team was in 31st place, or a couple of elimination games against Vancouver, a hard-fought series against Dallas, and then, highlighted with being down 3-0 against Florida. And we fought, and we didn't give up. And pretty much the same thing tonight, where we're down and we weren't out. We pushed, but we just fell a little short.
In that same row, Mark.
Yeah, this is, you just stated all those times you came off the mat. You guys overcame everything that went in front of you this year. Does it seem hard to believe that, there was finally a hurdle you couldn't get past? This was the last one, and for somehow you couldn't get over it.
Yeah, we overcome so many obstacles, so many times of adversity. There'll be a lot of thinking about what happened tonight and the what ifs, and it'll take a while to let it go. But again, I commend the players in that room. They just put in a outstanding effort all season.
Right side, third row, Bill.
Chris, sort of on that same note, you guys have talked about overcoming everything all year, and then you come up 1 goal, 1 game short. Does it make it that much harder, the way this, it played out?
Yeah, it does. It hurts. It's more painful, but I definitely wouldn't have liked to lose in 4 straight. I liked how our team responded and pushed, and we're so close. But we lost to a good team.
Right side, fifth row, Slav.
Chris, I don't know if you're willing to do it, but if you are you willing to tell us what you shared with the group after the game tonight?
A lot of the messages that I shared, I know going in there in the past and the coach says a few words, and I know it's always on deaf ears. It's always hard to listen, and a lot of emotions going through. I think I'll have a better opportunity to address the team. I did say some things, but one is they should have their heads up high. They've got a lot of things to be proud of. Obviously, this is a really big one to be disappointed about, but they had a heck of a year, and they should be proud.
Back to Ryan, left side, fourth row.
Chris, and maybe this is for the next couple of days, but do want to ask about Draisaitl. Just, his performance in this series, he wanted more from himself, but we always assumed that he'd been playing through something significant. So I'm not sure if you can fill us in on anything there, or, it seemed like he was battling.
Yeah, no, I think, Leon's the hardest critic of himself. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. I think he did contribute a lot to our team. Obviously, the goals and assists weren't what his usually standard is. But, that's, and in the next couple of days, we'll get into the injuries and the report on the rest of the team. Right now, we'll hold on.
Right side, second row, Daniel.
Chris, you said this morning how proud you were of this team, and I think you've reiterated that tonight. But we all know in the nature of pro sports that some guys have to go, contractual, whatnot. Is that what makes it so difficult? Is that this group that seemingly was so close from the outside, wasn't able to get it done?
Yeah, no, it was a good team that Ken put together, and a lot of depth guys in our lineup really came up and played really strong performances down the stretch. You look at the Connor Brown, the Yanmark, Rico, all of those guys. There's so many other guys, but unfortunately, it's not going to be the same group. Hopefully, as many guys we can retain, but that's for another day.
Okay, that was Oilers head coach Chris Knoblauch, gracious in defeat. Won't get into the injury situation. We'll find those details out later on this week when the team returns home tomorrow, and then I'm assuming availability on Wednesday, garbage bag day, if you will, as this team came one game short of winning the Stanley Cup. And we'll have to regroup after 107 games and do it all over again in just 2 short months. You can slide in a text as we wind things down, 780-218-9999. Give us a thumbs up if you don't mind, please and thank you. Tough night for the oil and oil country, but we appreciate you being on board, whether you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, or watching on YouTube. What a hell of a ride it's been this year. Let's get to some texts. Let's go to Cozy. Says, hey, Tommy, love this team. What a wild ride it was with the way this season went. Hard to swallow, but the Oilers will be back. Let's go to Reno. Says, the ride has been great. It was a bittersweet ending. The Oilers brought hope to the city and even the nation with an unbelievable playoff run. The sun will come up tomorrow, and after a couple of days talking about what has happened over the last 3 months, we will start to talk about what can be for next year. Thanks to the Oilers and EST for a great year. Thank you, Reno. Nice text. Appreciate that, pal. This one says, time on ice when trailing kills them every time. Nothing left in the tank. Great season. Crushed but proud. Doesn't sign text guy. Great handle there. Doesn't sign text guy. Appreciate it. Sheldon, not in a white garbage truck, says, thanks, boys. Hope you guys enjoyed the game as well. And then let's go to Atif. Old Wheels getting in there. Wheels, you've been a bit of comic relief all season and a good fan and a friend of EST. So Wheels texts in says, Tommy, Trev, thanks for everything this season. I'm heartbroken. I believe the Oilers will be back in the final next season. Stanley comes home next season. See you boys at the Elks games. Hopefully they can start winning from Atif. All right. YouTube, Trev.
Tom Gazzola.
We're going to say goodbye here. It's been a hell of a year.
Farewell.
Your first year under the EST banner, and I think you were a great addition to the group, and we look forward to what season 2 brings, but we've got a big summer ahead of us, a lot to go on here on EST. We're going to have some great announcements for you that I think is going to surprise a lot of people and show you that we mean business, and we're only getting started here. So I'll hand it off to you to say some final words.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tommy. I mean, regardless of the outcome, this has been life-changing last 9 months. I've brought it up before. Tom Gazzola was someone that I used to watch, and I was like, man, that would be cool to, just to know him and let alone work with him one day. So it's crazy. Being in college, taking broadcasting, listening to you and Dusty, and man, it's crazy what happens. I bet on myself, moved to the big city, and now I'm bumping shoulders with Dustin Nielsen, Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanek, Zach to come, everyone, Joaquin Gage, Belsley. It's just insane. You guys have really just made this last 9 months. 9 months I won't ever forget. And it's tough that this would have been the cherry on top if the Oilers could have got things done tonight. But they are that close, and I think that's the thing. And it sucks because you look at it, they got swept by the Avalanche, and then last year, and it's like they are that close. And so you got to think, and you brought it up, Tommy. They lost to the Stanley Cup champions 3 years in a row, man. Like, they are right there. I honestly think this team is. We saw it. They beat the Florida Panthers. They are a Stanley Cup champion team. It just didn't happen tonight. It wasn't their night, but that's the way she goes. So it's been a phenomenal run. We couldn't have asked for a better start, a better season to cover, really, just the ups and downs and everything. It's Cass talked about it in the pregame show. He's never seen a season like this in his life. So there's a lot to look forward to. I'm already, it's tough. It'll take a few days to sink in, but hey, like, these guys are just so close, and what we got going on here at Edmonton Sports Talk, it's truly something special, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it. So subscribe, join this journey with us. We're just getting started, and we'd love for you to be a part.
Awesome stuff, YouTube, Trev. Well said, my friend, and you're a huge addition to our station. So thank you, buddy. You put in a hell of a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, tears, all that stuff in your first year on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre and post game show. We look forward to year number 2. I'm going to rattle off a few texts, and then I'll say my final piece for the season. Rod Z says, got to say, hell of a season, an honor to have witnessed Edmonton Oilers hockey. This 100% hurts, but watching McDavid waiting for every teammate come off the ice after such a tough loss like the true captain he is, this is going to light another fire for the team to get right back at it next year. 2025, hashtag cup bound from Rod Z. Let's go to Operator Rich. Says, we have to pay Brown $3 million to not even be on our team. Haha, playing Avstars and even Canucks. We're screwed, man. You know what, Operator Rich? He might be back next year on a more team-friendly contract. They did give him a sweet deal this year. I get that. This one out of Calgary says, I'd love to see an evening show with YTT or something. Just hang on. We're working on something. Trust me. We'll announce it when the time's right. But we have some big stuff in store. I will just say that, and I'll leave the boys to handle the announcements when the time is right. We have a golf tournament to get to. We have a $100,000 swing to win hole-in-one challenge next week. We've got a nasty bash at the end of next month. We've got the Esties. We have some fun things, some big things, and some exciting things in store. We'll announce it when the time comes. Let's go to Barry, who just says, thanks for the great season, boys. I look forward to the summer and next season. All right, that's going to do it for the text. I'll just say this, 6th year pre and post game, started at TSN 1260 and carried on at Edmonton Sports Talk. We didn't know what we were getting into when we started this station in September. We just knew that we had an idea. We thought we had the right platform, Matty Iwanek, the technical savvy, to get this thing up and off the ground. And just 4 on-air guys with the support of 3 former NHL players and a golf pro who also has a show. That's where it all started after our station got shut down last June. And here we are, almost at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and hundreds of thousands of listeners and viewers. Absolutely incredible. So to everybody who stuck with us after 1260 went down, thank you. This is why we do this. To everybody that's just come on board, thank you. We hope you like what we bring to the table, and we want you to know that this is who we are and how we do things, and we're going to continue to keep this ball rolling, and we're just getting started. So there's no way we were starting this station without an Oilers pre- and post-game show. The numbers were great. The interaction was fantastic for the most part. Obviously, we get some idiots in there just like we used to when we would take dumb calls sometimes at 1260. But it makes this job exciting, fun, keeps you on your toes. That's why I love doing it. So I want to get Trev in here one last time because he has one more thing to say, and then I'll say my goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, I didn't know you were going to bring me on. But yeah, lastly, I forgot. How could I forget the nasties? The absolute, they're the nast. Oh, you guys have just made this unbelievable. I'll admit, definitely a work in progress. Just looking back and listening to my first post game show, I guess, that I did. You guys have been there for me since the get-go. And it's just been awesome from, obviously Tommy just said every now and then you get a wise guy who just decides to say the odd thing or two. But from Box Pounder to, you guys know who you are, Jen Cole, everyone. You guys are just so amazing. So Joel, of course, how could I forget about Joel? Everyone, you guys were just phenomenal all season long, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. So I just had to quickly say that. I'm sorry that I forgot about you nasties. You guys are beautiful. Thank you for everything.
Well said, Trev. That's going to do it for the first ever season of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Yes, it flew under a different banner at the old station, but we continue to bring this thing year in and year out. It will continue next year, bigger, better than ever. And I can't wait. Until then, I'm going to finally hit the golf course. I'm going to enjoy whatever's left of the summer. And the Oil Stream afternoon show will continue on all off season long. We're going to bring you Oilers news. So thank you to all the nasties and the new ones. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. One last time, big thank you to GCL Diesel, Damon Bunting, Remax Elite, and of course, Christopher Boyle for trusting in us and hopping on board as partners. For Matt Cassian and YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you so much for a fantastic year of Oilers pre- and post game. We'll see you in September.